Imagine trusting a doctor with your life, believing that they are there to help you, but what if that very doctor was secretly taking lives instead of saving them? This is the horrifying true story of Dr. Harold Shipman, a respected physician who used his position to murder over 500 patients. For years, he evaded justice, but it was a single, unexpected mistake that brought his horrifying secrets to light. What led to his downfall? Stay tuned, because the shocking truth is more terrifying than you could ever imagine. Dr. Shipman's targeted victims. The flatterer onlooker, Dr. Harold Shipman, was a shipmate. The doctor mostly targeted patients who lived alone and were very old, whose deaths could not be easily suspected. Dr. Shipman used to spend extra time with such patients and would visit their homes to listen to them, making them feel that, although they were alone, Dr. Shipman was there to listen to everything they said. Some patients trusted Dr. Shipman so much that they even gave him the keys to their houses. Due to this attitude, he became very famous in Hyde. People thought that Dr. Shipman only treated old people, but under the guise of all this, he used to find out who was alone at what time, how much wealth and property they had, who owned the house, who visited, and where their relatives lived. Once Dr. Shipman was satisfied, he would kill his patients by giving them an overdose of medicine. Since these patients were mostly over 80 years old, no one would have suspected their deaths. Dr. Shipman's early career and drug addiction. Dr. Shipman started his career in a town called Pontefract, 70 kilometers away from Hyde, where he worked in a hospital. He worked there until 1974, when he left Pontefract and moved to Todd Modern, where he became a general practitioner at the Abraham and Murad Medical Center. During his time there, he prescribed large quantities of painkillers to some patients, painkillers that were highly addictive. Dr. Shipman was addicted to the drug pantheon and would deliberately prescribe it to his patients, even when there was no need for it. The patients felt good after taking the medicine, but in reality, it made them feel worse. It wasn't known that he was taking drugs, which attracted patients to him even though they did not want to be treated. After being caught, the hospital administration fired Dr. Shipman, and the matter escalated to the cancellation of his license. However, Shipman escaped having his license revoked. After a short stint in rehab when he was forgotten, he returned to Hyde in 1977, where he became a general practitioner at Donnybrook Medical Center. The surge in murders and the first suspicion. Dr. Shipman continued to practice as a GP in 1980. During this time, he neither gave up drugs nor stopped finding opportunities to murder elderly patients. The frequency of these murders increased considerably from 1993, when he opened his own clinic in Hyde and made a good name for himself in the city. The situation remained the same for several years. No one suspected the doctor's activities. This suspicion grew further when it was learned that all 16 of Dr. Shipman's patients were cremated after their deaths. Most Christians bury their loved ones, and only some choose cremation. It was also noted that most of these patients were elderly women who had been found dead in their homes, which was not normal. These patients often died while sitting in good clothes, and in some cases, Dr. Shipman found the patients dead at their homes, even though he had never visited before. The investigation and Dr. Shipman's mistake. An investigation was conducted based on this report, but the police did not find any concrete evidence against Dr. Shipman. The investigation was closed after a month. However, Dr. Shipman's patients continued to die, and he himself filed a Form B complaint each time. Form B is a form that must be signed by the doctor treating the patient, where they write the cause of death. However, the issue was that Form C, which also needs to be signed by another doctor, was often left unsigned in most cases. The signatures were taken from friends of doctors or people who did not doubt him. In this way, Dr. Shipman used to write fake information on the death certificates of his patients and send them for cremation easily, with no one suspecting anything due to this process. Many deaths went uninvestigated, which allowed Shipman to hide his murders with ease. Kathleen's daughter, Angela Woodruff, a lawyer herself, became suspicious of her mother's mysterious death when she found her mother's will, in which Kathleen had written that her house was to go to Dr. Shipman. Dr. Shipman had been very close to the family and was unaware of the will. Angela suspected something was wrong when the will only mentioned one house, even though her mother actually owned 2 houses. Angela Woodruff went to the police, who began a fresh investigation. Kathleen Grundy's body was exhumed and sent for an autopsy. It was found that her body had high traces of diamorphine, heroin. When the police questioned Dr. Shipman, he claimed that Grundy was addicted to heroin, and he had written this information on his computer before treating her. Dr. Shipman had recently started making entries in a computerized medical journal, but did not realize that the last edit date of the file would automatically be saved. When the police examined the computer entries, they discovered that although Dr. Shipman had entered the date before death, the last edit date clearly showed a more recent time. The key breakthrough and arrest. Further investigation led the police to find the typewriter used to write the fake will. It was discovered that some characters on Shipman's typewriter were corrupted, and the same corrupted characters were found in the will. Kathleen's will was missing, and on September 7th, 1998, Dr. Harold Shipman was arrested. When the news broke, people whose loved ones had been killed by Shipman in the past also came forward, but they had not raised their voices before, fearing the well-known doctor. The police also investigated 15 other patients who had died due to poisoning sometime before. In all these cases, a specific pattern emerged, where the patients had been given a lethal dose of diamorphine. Dr. Shipman had signed their death certificates himself, listing old age as the cause of death, and advised cremation to erase any evidence. During the investigation, all cases of patients treated by Dr. Shipman were re-examined. The inquiry team reviewed all documents, death certificates, and medical records handled by Shipman. They also interviewed the families of those who had been treated by him and conducted forensic post-mortems on some bodies after exhuming them. The investigation was thorough, and it was revealed that from 1975 until his arrest, Dr. Shipman had killed a total of 218 patients. This is a confirmed number, but there are many more cases that could not be confirmed due to lack of evidence. It is estimated that the true number of victims could be as high as 260. Dr. Shipman's death and aftermath. Dr. Shipman was sentenced to life imprisonment. He hanged himself by tying a bedsheet to the bars in his cell. After his death, his cellmates were released from prison. One of his comrades claimed that Dr. Shipman had confessed to killing not 260, but 508 people. The real reason behind his killings has never been determined. Some people believe that Shipman was a psychopath who wanted to earn money, while others speculate that his mother's death had a significant impact on him. Dr. Shipman's mother, who was a cancer patient, had been given morphine as a painkiller. Experts believe that Dr. Shipman might have started killing his patients by administering morphine in the same way to replicate the method used on his mother. Dr. Harold Shipman's reign of terror lasted far too long, leaving families shattered and lives lost. But in the end, his own mistake led to his capture, exposing one of the darkest secrets in medical history. If you found this story chilling, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more shocking true crime stories. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think was the real motive behind Shipman's actions? We'll see you in the next video, where we'll unravel another spine-tingling case that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Stay safe and keep questioning the world around you.